Greetings everyone. The topic for today is a verb phrase. So basically, we know that a verb phrase comprises an auxiliary verb and the primary verb. The auxiliary verb, also known as a helping verb, which comes before the main verb. So we have different types of the verbs as we have discussed in our previous lessons in detail about each type of the verbs. Active verbs are used to demonstrate doable activities, whereas linking verbs define conditions. They illustrated by the following examples. She teaches English lessons. He drives to school every day. James seems angry. The boy was thoroughly beaten. Here the first two examples comprise of active verbs, which is teaches and drives. The other two examples comprises of the linking verbs. You can see that the teaches and drives is the main verb, while seems is a linking verb. In the functions of the verb phrases, you can see that a verb phrase can also be defined as part of a clause or sentence comprising a verb and at the same time describes more information about the subject. In other words, we can say that in a verb phrase, we can have a main verb, we can have with addition of the linking verb, and it can be a modal verb with the main verb. It can also be described as a phrase that acts as an adverb or adjective and comprises a verb and its complements, which may be either modifiers or objects. A verb phrase comprises of the main verb and auxiliary verbs, also known as helping verbs. So another name for the auxiliary verb is helping verb. So they are telling us that a verb phrase can be in a combination of the main verb and with the combination of the auxiliary, and another name for the auxiliary verb is a helping verb. Here are a few examples. He was walking quickly to the bank. Over here, the main verb is walking, while the auxiliary verb or helping verb is was. So if we underline or highlight these two words, was walking in a sentence, it comprises of a verb phrase. He should wait before he can practice driving. Over here, we have a modal verb should with wait, which is the main verb. So we have to underline these two words in order to tell the reader that we have highlighted or identified a verb phrase in a sentence. In the third example, we can see you must wash your clothes now. Must and wash. We have the modal verb with the main verb, and when we are underlining these two verbs together, it is a combination of two verbs which is called as a phrase, because we know that phrase is a combination of two or more than two words. The graduate is writing a CV. Over here it is a helping verb and writing is the main verb, which is a verb phrase. In the next example, these shoes may be worth thousands of dollars. May be is another verb phrase. These employees are not trying very hard. Over here we are having are not trying as a verb phrase in this sentence. A verb phrase can be defined as a part of a clause or sentence comprising a verb and at the same time describes more information about the subject. So this is the another function of the verb. It is telling you something about the subject, or you can say the verb is telling you the action which is done by the subject. It can also be described as a phrase that acts as an adverb or adjective and comprises a verb and its complements, which may be either modifiers or objects. As a predicate of a sentence, we can see few examples. In the first example, she was walking quickly to the bank. So walking quickly is a verb phrase which is acting as a predicate of a sentence. Predicate of a sentence means it is telling you further information about the subject. You must wash your clothes now. Those employees are not trying very hard. John is writing a CV. James might eat an apple. These are all the examples of a predicate of a sentence. As an adverb or an adjective, you can see over here, James opened the window to let in the fresh air. So over here, it is working as an adjective or an adverb in the sentence. How it is acting as an adjective, if it is modifying a noun in a sentence like window, then it is acting as an adjective. And if it is modifying a verb in a sentence or adjective or another adverb, then it is acting as an adverb. So to send money, you need some credit in your account. Over here, to send money, we have a verb phrase which is acting over here. It can be an adverb or it can act as an adjective, but over here, to send money is acting as an adverb. As the teacher watched two boys fought over a book. Over here, we can see over a book is a verb phrase. Walking in the rain, James slipped and fell. So adverbs tell us how, where, when, and why. So walking in the rain is an adverb and acting as a verb phrase acting as an adverb in a sentence. So this concept is a little bit complicated. You just need to keep it in mind that a verb phrase can act as an adverb or can act as an adjective. If it is modifying a noun or a pronoun in a sentence, then it is acting or behaving as an adjective. Or if another case, a verb phrase, when it is telling you the questions for WH, like when, where, how, and why, then it is that verb phrase is acting as an adverb in a sentence. Finite verb phrase. A verb phrase is said to be finite if there is only one verb in a sentence. The head verb, which is categorized as finite, or we can say finite, can either be in the present or a past tense. For example, every Sunday evening I go to the grocery store. Over here, go is the finite verb in the sentence. This kind of a verb phrase has the head verb as infinitive, participle, and can be a gerund. For example, she is witnessing the two fights. Over here, is witnessing is another verb phrase, definite verb phrase. Over here, you can see the difference between finite verb and infinite verb. So the discussion over here is related to the verb phrases, and the main points which were there in the lesson was that a verb phrase can be a combination of a modal verb with the main verb. It can be helping verb or auxiliary verb with the main verb. And in the next section of the lesson, it was discussed that a verb phrase can act as an adjective, or it can act as an adverb in a sentence, or it can be a finite verb or infinite verb phrase in a sentence. And the differentiation between finite verb phrase and infinite verb phrase were also being elaborated with the help of the examples. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel for more updates on grammar topics. Thank you.